Howdy folks, my name is Jeff and welcome back to my workshop. In a previous video, you got to see me do all of the planning and the building for my new workshop here in Costa Rica, the first part of the workshop. And one of the big challenges for doing this workshop wasn't so much the building and getting supplies, it was avoiding what I'm going to call the perfect workshop trap. You know, that feeling in your mind that when you're putting your workshop together that you got to get all of the little features and everything correct on the first time through, and that's a hard mindset to avoid. So as I was planning and building the workshop, I gave myself a rule, this just build it now rule, and we will fix it later if it needs to be fixed. And we got a couple things that we need to address in the workshop here. You might be able to even see one of them behind me. So let's head up to the command center and let's talk about what we got to do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back up to the command center. Listen, we're getting ready to go into the nighttime cycle up here in the command center. So we're having a little decaf coffee so we don't disrupt that natural wake-sleep cycle and everything. So we have two projects that we'll be working on in this video. The first will be fixing an issue with my tool caddy, and the second will be fixing a little problem that I have with my tool wall. So let's start with our tool caddy. Okay, so now if we take a look at this first video here, this is of my tool caddy. We kind of saw it there in the opening, and if we start the video there, we can see that the tool caddy has what I call an auto adjustment problem. You know, you push it somewhere and it kind of comes back to the center. So now if we switch views, we have two arms. There's the first one and the second one. They are made out of 2x2 pine, and they are attached with each with a bolt, 3/8 inch bolt right there, all three of them. And the problem is that I don't have a drill press at the moment. You know, when you get a new workshop, you got to buy all these new tools, can't buy everything at once. And I didn't drill the holes perfectly perpendicular. So we have an auto adjustment problem. So let's talk about how we're going to fix that. Okay, I've got our CAD software loaded up here with the design of our tool caddy. You can see along the left-hand side, we've got it where it bolts to the wall. We've got our two 2x2 pine arms that come out, and then we have the tool caddy itself. So my plan is this. I think we need to replace the arms, and I'm not going to use pine. So let's take out our arms, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to move our brackets closer, and we're going to replace the pine with square tubing. Specifically, I think we will use 2 centimeter square tubing. We will bolt them together just like the current arrangement, and then instead of having a tilt to the tool caddy itself, we are going to lay it flat and just bolt it flat right to the tool arm. Now, I am going to switch back over to the video. So if we look at the tool caddy from the front, we can see that because it sits so low, it actually hides my supply of screws and bolts and washers and stuff. It's kind of hard to see. I have to get it out of the way, and of course, since it's auto-correcting, it sometimes will auto-correct itself into my head. So we're going to get it up and out of the way so we can have easier access to our screws and bolts and nuts and washers for our projects. That's our plan for the tool caddy. Let's head down to the shop and start work on that, and then we'll see you back here to talk about the tool wall. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back up to the command center. I'm glad we got our tool caddy all working and everything and repaired. Now, let's talk about our next project, my tool wall. So in this first shot, we are just looking at the entire tool wall here. As you can see, we have tools on the outside and the inside of the tool wall here. Now, we are going to change angles here quickly. So in this next clip, as I open up the tool wall, you will see that it actually has a bit of an auto close feature to it. So let's take a quick look. Here we are opening the tool wall and auto close right there. It came back just a little bit. Now I stopped it in that video and it does actually close a lot more. Now the reason why it's doing that, and we're going to bring up our last little video segment here. So what I'm going to show you is that the center panel, the part where the two big parts of my tool wall hinge on, actually has become warped. So let's play that video, take a look at it. We're starting at the bottom here. We'll move it up and you can see. So as you look at it here, you can see at the bottom, we're kind of like looking straight on at the board. We can just see the edge. But as we move up the edge, we can see a little bit more of the board as we go up. So it is twisted and warped and it's causing that close. So here we're going to peer up even more at the top and you can see it even twists even more at the top. Okay, we are going to fire up our CAD software, load it up right now. So let's talk about how we are going to fix this. So you can see up here on the screen, we have our tool wall. We have our three sections, starting on the left, which is the main section, which is bolted to the side of my workshop. And then the skinny section that is warped. And then, of course, the swinging part of the tool wall is the right-hand side. Now, so let's talk about what we're going to do. We're going to remove our everything except the center section. All right, we've got everything moved. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to replace the center section. And we're going to replace it with that square tubing. So we'll put in our square tubing. So my plan is to start with one long tube and then take out little 45-degree notches that wear the corners on our tube design here and to bend the corners into that rectangular shape. And then to give it some extra strength, we will put in some brackets on the inside. So then we're going to take some sheet metal and put one piece of sheet metal on the top or on the front and then another piece of sheet metal on the back. And then we will begin the reassembly process with our two panels and our hinges. And then maybe we'll put on a coat of paint there so it blends in with the rest of the design. So let's get back into the shop and let's get to it.
All right, friends, we've got everything done, and as you can still hear, it's the rainy season here in Costa Rica. Sorry about that. Rain's just going to be in the audio. But anyways, we are done, and let's go inside. Let's take a look at what we got.
All right, starting off with the tool caddy, what you'll notice right away is that it's up higher, and now I have easier line of sight for my hardware. I don't have to struggle, and if I need to see something in the back there, I can remove the light, and bam, I can see things that are even on the back there, right underneath the caddy. So that's a win on that front. Now, let's talk about our auto centering feature. We're gonna pull it on out. And, you know, you're gonna notice it still has a little bit of a lean to it. I don't have a drill press, and I tried. But what I did instead was use some wig nuts to apply friction to the joints. And if you see, we'll push it over. Look at that. No auto correcting. Move it over there. No auto centering. So success on the tool caddy. All right, we are gonna move on over to the tool wall, and as we open it up here, we can see our new steel middle section there, all nice and painted, all nice and rigid right there. And I'm gonna close it up because what I want to show you is that it has no warping in it, nice and straight and up and down there. And we know this for sure because look, I open it back up and I let it go, and voila. The tool wall stays open and it doesn't try to auto close. So another success.
All right, folks, I want to say thank you once again for joining me here in the Raging Deacon workshop. I love having you guys in here and showing you all the things that I'm doing in my new workshop. So before we go, we need to have a little talk. Listen, do you have any spare tools laying around your workshop? Come on, I know you do. So I encourage you, if you have any of those spare or unused tools just laying around in the toolbox somewhere or in the drawers in your kitchen, I encourage you to donate those tools to a charity of your choosing, because a good tool is more than just a tool. A good tool is an opportunity, and everyone deserves a good tool. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.